For 33 hours, the governor of Utah was praying for the man who unalived Charlie Kirk to not be one of them. Let me repeat that for you. The governor of Utah was less concerned over the violence itself and more concerned, 33 hours of praying, concerned that it would not be one of them. Now, he didn't elaborate if he meant Mormons, people from Utah, white people. I'm assuming all three. And I'll tell you why I assume this. That day, uh, I had just recently gotten my phone back. I did not have my phone for a while, so I was disconnected. So I come back, and this is one of the first things that I see. But what I also see is a massive fervor of anger and rage toward the left for the unaliving of Charlie Kirk. Hold that thought. So much so, I actually wasn't going to talk about this. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll sit this one out. Donald Trump was insisting it was somebody from the left without any information to back that up. Seeing posts about it all over social media, it's the left did this. Even though the governor and all these people have forgotten a few important things. One, this is Utah. This is a Mormon college. This is a conservative gathering, which as you can see from that sea of Caucasian there, it would be unlikely. Not impossible. Sure, somebody could have snuck in there and pretended, rah, rah, system, but we love bigotry, right? They could have done that, you know. But as it turns out, he's exactly one of them. He is a Mormon. His family is very Mormon and Republican and MAGA. He is a young white male that would indeed go to one of Charlie Kirk's rallies. He definitely looks the part. He fits all of the things that they were wishing he was not, because they wanted to start a civil war. They wanted an enemy so bad, and it turns out the enemy is, of course, within themselves. Next topic. Why do I say that? Within themselves. Well, Donald Trump enabled a white nationalist perspective to gain an even further foothold, especially amongst our youth in the United States. That is undeniable. If you look at the hate groups and the nationalist groups and see what political party they support and who they behind it, I bet you who they voted for. I bet you it wasn't Kamala. Half black, half Indian woman. I'm sure of that. But it got me thinking. There was something kind of fishy about the whole thing. And yes, there's several things that felt messy about it. Kash Patel's handling of it. Did you know that, by the way, Kash Patel was sending at least the first series of tweets where he was like, hey, we caught the guy. Oh, no, we're wrong. Sorry, we didn't catch the guy. He was doing that all from a fancy, hard-to-get-into restaurant in New York. We'll get to that later. The guy should have just let his people handle it, not said anything. Anyways, the fishy thing was, after we found out more about the shooter, right? We find that he actually might be more far right and more extremist than even Charlie Kirk. And when we find out this information, Civil War talk go down. That's what I want to talk about. Almost crickets about the Civil War and we need to retaliate and all that stuff. This is nothing. We need to pray for the shooter. But if they look like me, it would. Oh man, if they would have believed in what I would have believed in, oh boy, right? As a matter of fact, I don't hear much of that anger at all anymore. So why the double standard? I'm curious what you think. Why is it okay if somebody that looked like me had done that? You'd be like, yeah, we need to do something. We need to make some changes. And when you find out that he is actually somebody that looks like you, believes in similar things that you believe, just stops that whole nationalist civil war dead in its tracks. Dead in its tracks. Last couple of thoughts. I keep seeing people in posts comparing how Democrats deal with an uproar situation compared to Republicans. Now, I think it's important to identify a couple of things. One, I'm specifically not pointing out necessarily a group of people when I'm talking about this. When I say you, I mean any of you who have felt these thoughts, wanting to take it to the libs. All of you who are so ready for violence, so ready for retaliation. January 6th insurrection ready level, right? And then comparing it to those who are angry with a system that has taken them over, disenfranchised them, and treated them as less than for so long, only increasingly so over recent years. I see comparisons to Charlie Kirk and Martin Luther King, Charlie Kirk and George Floyd. These situations, these people are not the same. Charlie Kirk was a podcaster, a very effective one, a podcaster that spoke hate and influenced those to carry out actions of hate, and was unalived by somebody who believed very similar things to what he believed. We can't even say what he did was part of the Groypers group or Nick Fuentes or anything like that. We just know that apparently he was digging what dude was saying. When it came to George Floyd's unaliving, that was our law enforcement. That was our system. Unaliving a man that didn't deserve to be unalived while being detained. So you have the actions of one man and you have the actions of a system. And again, we can't forget January 6th. I don't know why certain people keep forgetting that detail. Yeah, you see people rioting in the streets, but nobody was trying to take over the country after the election results weren't what they wanted them to be, right? So enough of that talk. But again, I'm not trying to be political. I'm just trying to set the record straight. There was so much dog whistling when it came to Charlie Kirk's unaliving. So much riling up. So many people that I knew from various phases of my life, various upset levels, and different reasons, all because the narrative was being sold to them that the left disagreed with Charlie Kirk, therefore they unalived him. Shouldn't unalive people just because they disagree with you, even though there's so many layers to that we're still revealing even now. And people were being told this over one day. They just quickly believed it without any proof, any evidence. That's why I'm tripping on this whole thing, is we had such a fire of just misinformation and anger, and it turns out it wasn't true, it wasn't accurate. It's still hurting people today. There's been already talk of retaliating against black colleges. You know, they had absolutely nothing to deal with it. I'll end with saying this. Wait until at least day 2 or day 3 to express anger and rage about a topic. I'll try to do the same. Let's work on it together. Okay, I'm done. Let me know what you think, and yeah, we will talk later. One last thing. I heard that the unalivers' grandmother was so appalled that they were being called leftists. She's like, we're full on Republican. We don't know anybody from the left. I just want to say, hilarious. All right, I'm done.